Alright friends, we're here in the old Super Cheap Super Duty again, headed off on an adventure. And of course the traffic is crazy and the phone's been ringing and everything else, but we are on the way to check out another auction. So we're gonna get, we'll get started right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Rusty Oliver Man. We're gonna go preview the 2026 Mensendiek Farm auction. They have a consignment auction every year. I go and I don't know, last year we bought that WC and a white planter and stuff. So we're gonna go see what treasures they have. I don't know what, looking at the website, they don't have a lot on there, but there's always more stuff that shows up at the last minute. And really, I would rather be filming this on like a Friday right before, because there will probably be more stuff show up. But the weather's not going to be too good, so we're going to go tonight. It's Tuesday, so most of it will be there, but I'm sure there'll be a few pieces show up that we won't have seen by Saturday morning. So anyway, I'll bring you back when we get there. Oh friends, the one thing I didn't really think about, and I should have, is the traffic. This is the wrong time of day to be going through here. I mean, it's crazy, but we should be out of the worst part of it, I hope, here in just a minute. Once we go past the interstate, there really shouldn't be a whole lot, but I don't know, friends. I don't know. Also, I noticed everywhere I've been today, there's a lot of guys out there doing burn down, spraying stuff. I see sprayers and rigs parked everywhere. After today, it's supposed to rain about every day, so I don't know. That'll all be underwater if it rains a bunch. This flood's really bad through here, so yeah. Last year, I think they were working on this bridge. And when we bought that planter, we couldn't get through this way, so we had to go up and around. So at least that hurdle is done, but we'll see. I don't know that there's anything that I really can't live without up here, but we're gonna take a look anyway. Okay, friends, we made it. Looks like there's several other people that had the same idea I did, is coming to look at stuff. So I will assume that by Saturday morning this will probably be full of stuff too, but we'll just go down through here. Now this this has my interest, because this is kind of exactly what I've been looking for here. Man, I hate to spend a bunch of money though. That's about right though. A little overdeck trailer that's not too long. We might have to watch that. There's what is that, a cloth disc vine? It's green. Sure. There's a little pull type disc. Not very heavy, but it seems like that's a popular size that usually brings pretty good at a sale. But 1870 Gale baler. I just don't know around here where you'd get any kind of parts for that, so I don't know. Double basket rolling harrow. That wouldn't be bad either, but I'm sure that'll be top dollar there, friends. An old New Holland rake. Should be like a 256 since it's offset, I would think. John Deere drill. Peterbilt, not for hire. that? A 4050 front wheel assist. Huh. Don't know that I've seen one of those. It's got a very homemade bale spear with it. Somebody got a welder for Christmas and they just started welding everything together they had at home. But if it works, good deal. If it fits, it ships. There's a 175. It's been rode a little hard too, it looks like. Missing the grill. But you can't hardly go wrong with these little Massies. I mean, they're pretty reliable. Interesting. There's a tandem, about like my tandem, except mine's red. That's exactly probably like mine. Road Ranger. Road Ranger. Air brakes. Yeah. It looks like it was green at one time. Timberjack skidder. There we go. We need those chains for snow plowing. That would get you there. There's no cable on the winch anymore. That's okay. We're not going to do any log skidding. Oh, it might be in there. There's a little wagon gear. Looks like an electric gear. Would that happen to be an Oliver wagon? Oh, I don't really want to crawl all the way down. But I will. It's probably a David Bradley. They were also made by Electric. Creepy panel van. You could take that to take your kid to school. That's got a bad motor though, so you wouldn't be able to give out very much free candy, but even comes with new plumbing for your house. That's the selling point right there. There's another super cheap Super Duty. That's an F350. It's two-wheel drive. It's got a diff lock though. It's got a key in it. Got nothing. No battery action. Bad motor. Wonder how they turned out so wrong. Try to raise them right and they go bad. Guy ought to buy that for parts. That's got an excellent hood on it. I can't hardly justify buying a whole nother truck for just a hood, but you could get a spare tire with it though. What we got here? I guess we also got that camper. Got an international semi here. Got a Sterling semi or truck, flatbed truck. Another international. I just don't know enough about these trucks like this, so some of you probably want me to go like look them over closer, but I just don't know the thing. I do think though that Sterling, didn't they buy out the Ford line of big trucks like that? I think they did. There's an old International Lodestar. There's a Fleet Star tandem. Bunch of enclosed trailers. Looking like maybe a construction company either went out of business or updated their fleet. Selling all the old. Don't know. There's a disc of some variety. What is that? Is that a Kiowani? No, a Casco. That's probably the Harrow. That's not the... That wouldn't be the disc itself. Yep, Kiowani. Chromoly America. Sure. There's a John Deere mixer, grinder mixer. That's kind of cool if you're a deer collector. And this one looks to be in pretty darn good shape for a mixer. Would that be from maybe the 90s with a sticker like that? I don't know. A 700. There's a Kraus drill. I don't know that I've seen another one of those, but it looks like it would do the job. A lot of no-till cutters there. Got a little IH truck, I believe. An S series. Got a winch bed. Wonder if that's a rollback. I bet it is. I don't know. A golden C60. Custom Deluxe. Here's a grain cart. I saw that in the pictures and thought about it, but it is pretty rough. It has been well loved, we'll say. And another person who got a welder for Christmas decided they would fix it up. So I think we'll probably pass on that one. Although you would get some, well, I was gonna say you'd get some decent-ish tires. They're weather cracked, but I don't know. What do we got here? A 600 Ford with a 370. Sure. What type of hoist does it have? Does it have a scissor hoist or a... I think it has a scissor hoist. I like them better than the 2-post lift, but that's personal preference, I suppose. A V-rake, some assembly required. Corn Pro trailer with title. Big Nutriplacer with an end transport deal. I saw that in the pictures. I don't think I've seen one like that before. That's a pretty good size feller. I mean, yeah. Some more wagons. They'll probably bring about 800 bucks. That's usually about what a wagon brings. If it's like this with a floor on it of some kind. That's a John Deere gear. I've got a gear like that. That is a good gear. Here's another thing that would be in the wouldn't mind to have pile. Came from our Oliver dealer too. A Brilliant Cultum Mulcher. Is that what we decided they're called? Because it's got shovels and the rollers. I don't know if I want one that big though. The point of it would be to play with old tractors, so those things do eat up a little bit of horsepower if you got the teeth down. Where are we here? Auger wagon. They did double row some stuff here, so I don't know if they're gonna rearrange some or what. Some kind of trailer here. You know what you do, living core, park this down at the truck stop and do your business deals in there. Probably up on the flat part. There's another trailer. That one's not exactly what I would want. I don't want to, if there's a flat tire, I don't want to be trying to get wheels out from underneath. That ain't for me. There's an old IH truck. A lot of these old grain trucks, and it just seems like nobody wants them. And since there's so many here, I bet they won't hardly bring anything. I don't know. We got a party boat. We got a party boat, friends. We might make it to the middle of the lake before she goes down, but hey, think of the memories. New Holland baler. Is that a 273? Yep. It's basically the same as that one I got. It's a wire tie that we needed to tinker with. But sure. There's a wagon with a truck bed on it. That would probably haul some stuff. Case tractor with a case loader, weak brakes, an 870 Agri King, 336 cubic inch motor. How about that? Where's the case collectors at, friends? I mean, factory loader on the tractor. Pretty snazzy there, pals. New idea spreader. Cousin was looking for some parts. He ought to just buy that whole spreader and be done with it. Enclosed trailer. Camper with a pop out. Sure. We'll go over here. I guess we'll try to catch some of the in-between stuff as we go. A Gale disc bind. 2365. What else is in here? Well, we'll go as we go down. We'll catch it. There's a teeny tiny skid steer. I think that might even be smaller than the white skid steer that Cousin's got. I mean, if I got in that, I would be in that thing. I mean, that is tiny. Tractor selection this year is mostly red. 350 utility. Got a bigger case skid steer. Little cub with a belly mower. There was a bunch of them around at one time, you know. And then with the advent of the zero turn, that was pretty well the end. Just like the little 8-in Fords. There was a ton of them with finish mowers, but not anymore. 450 diesel Farmall. That's been loved on. Got some paint work done, and I'd say it does the thing, friends. And there's another one that's not painted. Yeah, these would be one that I wouldn't mind to have, just because I think they're neat. They start on gas and switch to diesel. You know, it's like overkill, friends. But pretty cool, nonetheless. We got some kind of plow here, IH 2-point hitch plow. Pile of parts. There's a couple rollers back there, a Brilliant and something else. Nothing really worth writing home about. John Deere splitter planter. $450 case dozer. Here's a early Vermeer baler. What's that, like a 605 maybe? Where's the numbers? The numbers are usually over on the side somewhere. There's 605D. Wagon gear. 750 Deere dozer. That definitely would push some stuff. I'd say it would outpull the little Cleatrack by a little bit. Man, here we got some Deere of every vintage. 855, a little 1010. That's not a bad little collector tractor, really. I mean, I think you could polish it up, is what I'm getting at. What's it say? To start, turn on gas, 2 full turns, turn off gas when done. No battery in it though, so you ain't gonna start it. Interesting. Another 855 with a loader, woods tiller, and a newer-ish something. Got a spot for more stuff here. There's a beautifully fixed up little Ferguson. Is that a TO30? I think it is. I can't remember how you tell the difference. There's something that I'm sure that's a 30. It's just like the one great grandpa had. Yeah, someday I hope to acquire that and fix it all up like this, you know, just to say I got one that was his, you know. Pretty slick. .641 Ford Workmaster. I worked on one of those once too. I don't think this is it though. It could be. I don't remember. The guy had it, and it had original paint on it, and then the guy had it painted right after I worked on it. So it's possible that this is it, but I wouldn't know enough of the markings. I can tell you right now, I didn't work on that one because I wouldn't put a resistor in there. I'd use the one-piece coil thing. Is that another auger wagon? Tandem trailer. J&M wagon. Kilbro's wagon. That looks like it's a auger wagon or tender wagon, whatever you want to say. There's a little military dump cart. That's kind of neat. That'd make a firewood hauler, wouldn't it? Air brakes. There's a big ring roller. Pretty good size. Brilliant roller. Got some trucks. Peterbilt. International. Coca-Cola truck. International. An enclosed trailer of some variety. Probably should use this opportunity to go back to the truck and change batteries, because my batteries are just about, I didn't want to put in a brand new one and waste this one that was at like 50%. So we'll go swap out and keep going. We aren't even halfway through yet. All right, fresh batteries. Got a whole bunch of anhydrous wagon gears. Those come up for sale every so often. Sure. There's a Kiowani elevator, just like what we're getting. It's got head. Some counterweight there. This looks a lot like that one. It's got the similar style hubs, except this is a lot beefier. Or no, that's got 4-bolt wheel hubs, doesn't it? Yep. That would have been much more handier-ish. It's got 2 heads up in it. Sure. Kiowani 500. Interesting. I would probably exercise caution when pulling that home. Sure. There's a Hutchison auger. That's very similar to the one I got, except I think mine is bigger diameter. That one's newer though. I think the swing away is longer on this one too. I don't know. Interesting. Got a big Deere semi-mount plow, perhaps. I would guess. Yep, John Deere. There's an Alice semi-mount plow that snap couples. Some people have never seen one of these before. I saw them posting about this very plow on Facebook. But sure enough, this is a thing. Like, I know where there's another one of these. You'd have to have a D19 probably to pull it, or you know, a 190, 180 snap couple probably. There's a seed trailer for the boxes with title. It ain't much, but it's got a title. There's a little 2-axle trailer. It's a wagon with an electric gear. It's a 5025, I think it says. 5025. So that's interesting. Yep, electric. PTO ditcher. I was looking for one the other day, but paid for, sold. No, I'd say if it's still got writing on it that it was paid for and sold, somebody tried it and didn't like it, or it just sat in the shed and never, I don't know. Interesting clues, you see. Another 256 rake, or that might be a 258 rake. Looks pretty wide. 256. Great wagon. Can run 40 to 50 miles an hour easily, sure. Some more anhydrous gears. Hay elevator, box blade, carry-all with a scale. Is that true? Carry-all with a scale. That's interesting. 492 hay vine. That looks pretty good shape, really, for being an older machine. Taken care of. Little trailer. New Idea ground drive spreader. Another military trailer. There's a cedar wagon, or a fertilizer spreader wagon that's been converted to run with a gas engine. I guess you can pull it with your pickup then, huh? She's seen her better days, friends. It's gonna need a little bit of greasing before she goes to the field again. There's a tank on the frame. A little single axle trailer. Little compact tractor. A Peters trailer. I don't know what this is. If this is like a pumpkin or a melon washing outfit or something. A brusher. Don't know. Carry-all. We'll get some of the other stuff on the backside on our way back. It's a little IH tractor that's been rode pretty hard. Pretty hard indeed, friends. Little bush hog. That's a cute little wheel rake. Look at that. You could rake your yard with it. Look at that thing. Pretty nice woods bush hog. Little 650 deer. Forklift. There's a skid steer, backhoe attachment. Paint is covering a lot of the sins on that one. There's a pretty good size forklift there. 5,000 Ford. It's not a bad looking tractor, really. Cub Cadets, I don't think I have ever seen something like that. A Cub Cadet Yanmar. So little diesels. One with a mower deck and one with a loader. Little finish mower. There's a VAC with no wheel. Somebody should probably save that or it'll end up as scrap iron. That's later than the one that I've got because it's got the eagle hitch on it, where mine does not. Mine has a integral, or like a implement lift with a big frame that mounts on. Huh. Case oil filter on it even. That tells you how much that's been changed. I'd give a couple $100 for it. I don't know. We'll see. Look at that little wagon. Kind of cute. Little auger. John Deere tank. Bunch of miscellany here. Little attachments and such. Nothing to really write home about there. Speaks for itself. It's amazing how much of that stuff comes out of the woodwork every time. I mean, there's a lot of it. There's a little quick hitch. That ain't very big at all. Here's an Oliver drawbar. No, friends, we might have just found the reason to come back again. That is not an 880 drawbar. That must be the buyer number. That is a drawbar for a Super 55 or a 550. So we need to come back and try for that. Sure. There's a PTO generator. It looks very Chinesium though. I don't know if I want to put all my eggs in that basket. All my egg rolls in that basket, I should say. How big does it say it is? Oh, it's not even attached right. We're just going to walk away before we make a bad decision. That's a heavy built little 3-point disc. Front grapple. Tanks. These are pretty wide carry-all. And there's our ditcher. Should move the truck closer here now, but it's fine by the road. I guess if they steal it, they steal it. They'll have to clean it first though. It's full of stuff. Now here's another thing that I might have been shopping for here, would be tires. And this set here tempts me greatly. However, it's not going to work good because of these right here. I could get by with one, but the other one I will have to either grind into the center or I would have to grind on the rim. That rim is junk there, so I don't know that it's even worth my time. I mean, that's pretty aggressively bad there, friends. But the tire, it still has some tread on it, you know? That one's starting to rust. I just hate to, have to work on them too, you know? We'll see. If they go real cheap, I may go down that road. I don't know. What are these? These are 18.4 38s. So they would fit that wheel center too, but they got a bunch of the bumps. So I would have to grind out. I'd have to do something there. Now that one's weird. That doesn't have any of those. Does it? No. Huh. Those must be two different style rims. And somebody used them, or they welded them. I don't know. If you see what I'm talking about, they don't have these raised stampings, which I can't have if I put them on those factory centers for that junkyard Super 77. That's what I'm talking about. I do kind of like the, I don't know, the wider tire look. I don't know. We'll see. Some kind of doors out of something. I&J crimper. Glencoe field cultivator that's probably been sitting for many moons. Many moons, friends. There's a cattle chute. There's a bale, so I'd say they're gonna sell. Probably got a barn full of bales somewhere, and they're gonna try to sell them. Little trailer. A little something. What is this thing? I have no idea what. I thought first it was like a hay conditioner crimper. I guess it is, but it's got the rubber roll on the bottom. Huh. I don't know that I've seen one made that way. Wonder if it's a New Holland, because it's got some painting to kind of match that theme. Interesting. Little AC planter somebody made. I made a few of those and sold them. People go wild for those for some reason. I guess because they're individual ground drives, so you can do what you want. What kind of motor's this got in it? Nothing. Nothing left. The old money tree's empty. So, none of that. Tank. Massey Ferguson drill. There's kind of a time capsule spreader. That is pretty darn good shape for a wooden spreader. Must have not got used much. '601 Ford with a loader. It's been sawed on a little bit. Sure, brand new Chinesium carburetor. Good deal. There's a deer. Is that a 60? Model 60. Kind of been loved on a little hard, but it'll do the thing probably. It's an 820 deer. Pretty well fixed up. Man, I think they expanded it this way a little bit. Scraped a lot clean there. There's a tire dolly for big tires. If you had a concrete floor, that'd be great. Bale spears. Look at that thing. Is that a compactor of some kind? Lots of stuff. Planter parts. There's a little John Deere 2-row planter. 3-point. Wonder if that's, it kind of looks factory more than just converted, but maybe I'm wrong. Don't know. There's another PTO ditcher. I would say it's got some water in the gear case, potentially. It's not stuck though. We might have to check that out too. Looks like crap, so it might be a good deal, you know. I bet that's a white tiller. The shield's missing, but it's exactly like mine, except sold under a different name. This is more of the value row here, you know, the stuff that Ross can afford. That's an interesting thing. A 90-degree direction changer that would have used friction discs. I don't know how you'd get that fixed up, but that's something to watch. It might be worth messing with sometime before I die. So it probably won't happen. You'll probably buy it on my auction. It's just a lot of stuff that is homemade at this one. I don't know, got a log splitter. I don't know what kind of engine that is. It kind of looks like the engine that's in the Cushman. Don't know. Tanks, triples, a little 3-point. What is that brand? Something road machinery. Huh. Interesting. Gravity boxes. I know that one year I bought one here and didn't hardly give anything for it. Then I put it together on a wagon gear, and I think I ended up selling it. I don't remember what I did with it. Or that might be the one I kept and I sold another one. I don't know. $4.94 planter. Pulled one of those, mini acre. That was the thing to have way back in the day. And boy, was I not sad to not be using it anymore. I do want to get that one that I've got out sometime and piddle with it and maybe plant a few rows just to say I did, but not for everyday use. There's a Schwartz wide front axle. That's right where it needs to be, where a scrapper can buy it. That's good for it. Don't really know what I'm looking at there. Post pounder, maybe. I think it's pounded its last post though. I don't know that we need to go look at every single mower and whatnot, but you can see quite the selection. They got boats over there, they got a row of vehicles back there. There's some miscellaneous wagon stuff in the shed, so we'll peer in and look at that. But basically, you see what you get here, you know. This area is supposed to be stuff that works. Now, whether or not that's true, I guess that's up to the honesty of the seller. But if it's parked over here, it's supposed to be runnable. If it's not, they park it out there in those rows. Although I did watch one year, years ago, a guy buy a mower and then he got on it and tried to start it and drive it to his trailer. It wouldn't start, and he lifted the hood and it had no engine in it. So you got to check, friends. There's all the miscellaneous stuff. nothing that we can't live without, you know. A few home light chainsaws, but nothing we don't already have, you know. They probably won't bring much though. Last time I bought a bunch of them here, I think I only gave like $5 a piece, and they both ran. We've been playing with them, you know. They just needed cleaned up a little. So there's a bigger home light that I might be interested in. No, a 330. I don't have one of those. Problem is, I'm not real motivated to get up super early on a Saturday, so I may not get here when it starts. And then they jump back and forth, and it's hard to watch everything you're interested in, you know. Let's check out these last few rows, and then we'll hit the trail, and I'll bring you back on sale day. I mean, this here is all pretty well anything and everything miscellaneous. Take what you get. It may or may not be good. Seller word only, you know, is how they base it. I know that people have drug in stuff here before, and he's even told them, he said, that's garbage, no one will buy it, you'll have to come back and get it. And they bring it anyway, and then it doesn't sell, and they have to come back and get it, but they don't. So then he ends up having to throw it away. But that's how she goes. There's an old-timey planter somebody cut up and made into a 3-point. A lot of that stuff has that theme to it, it looks like to me. Homemade cut up stuff. There's a little Oliver horse planter. I've got one, but I would have another, you know, to keep that from going in somebody's flower bed. Maybe it should just go in the flower bed, I don't know. It's a little golf cart, but again, it's out here in the row of sadness, so it's electric, so you get to spend $1,000 on batteries and then find out something else is wrong. There's an old school bell. Those will usually bring pretty good dough. Everything. Airco welder. That's a thing of the far distant past. Transfer pumps, Swisher mowers. When I worked at the farm store years and years ago, that was the big thing. We sold a bunch. I probably sold both of them, who knows. But their lifespan looks like it's pretty rude that you shut off because you're too hot. I'll carry the camera around out of the case and we'll see. It'll probably have more wind noise now, but that's how she goes. We'll see if we can power through. Like I said, there's really nothing here that's spectacular for you to see. I mean, this is just all kinds of miscellaneous farm junk, I guess you'd say. I use the word junk lovingly. You know, stuff you accumulate when you live on a farm. Some of it definitely has another life. Some of it probably should just go become chopsticks right now, but you know, that thing's stainless, it looks like to me. So there you go. Loading chute. Pontoons, I guess, for a boat is what those are. Wasn't sure. What do we got here? 38-inch big uns. They would probably be a deal if you had something that they fit. Here's your pile of catalytic converters. Sure. Just miscellaneous there. Some old garden tractors. Cub Cadet. Wheel horse. I'm not up on these. Is this an original? Or is that a... That could be an original because I don't see a number on it. I think usually they would say like 100 or something if it wasn't. Interesting. Let's just do 2 rows at a time here. Miscellaneous. Some golf carts that need lots of love. Miscellaneous tires and wheels. Buggy wheels. There's some old-timey generators. That one's a military one, because I recognize that motor. I've got a motor like that was brand new. I think I've told that story before about us using it on the fan, only to work our tail off, pulling the cord, trying to keep it running. Gas cans. I can't believe that so many of these show up all the time. Who accumulates that many plastic gas cans? It must be somebody who just goes to auctions every year and buys stuff that nobody else wants, and then they end up with a whole pile of similar things. Interesting. Just all kinds of stuff. Put in some central air, I guess, if you want. Pressure washers, generators, pallet jacks, snow blowers, customized golf carts, rebar with a hook bent into the end, sure. Saddle tanks. Can't hardly give those away anymore. There's a wheel off of a planter or something. What size are these? 34. So that doesn't do it for us. And that one's totally garbage. Totally garbage. I don't want to jump ahead here, but look at this weird thing. A mower with an engine in the back. Fuel tank and battery up front. I don't think I've ever seen such a thing. That is an odd duck, my friends. What else we got here? Miscellaneous. Cub Cadet. I got one of those in similar condition. I told cousin he could have it, and he's never come got it, so. There's a very dangerous looking brush mower. Wooden spools. All kinds of horse tools. I've got a mountain of those. The only thing that bothers me is, like, that stuff sells at the auction. It ends up outside in the flower bed and rots up. And I think that's kind of a waste. But whatever. I got enough of it. I don't need more. There's some more project mowers. One year I did come out pretty good. I bought like 3 or 4 or 5 out of this area of mowers that supposedly needed work, and some of them were great. I started them up and got them going, and I sold them and made a lot of money, but I don't know. It's not really worth my time anymore to piddle around to make $100, you know. Times change, you know. Simpson strong ties. What do we got? Joist hangers. That's probably quite the deal if a guy needed that many, but does he need that many? Don't know. Miscellaneous parts. Might be able to get you a real good motor and run something. There's a Honda twin cylinder Kohler. There's a Yardbird. I made a bunch of those once. That's kind of a different one. He made that out of a single piece of steel, though. I made mine out of old worn out farm parts, you know. Just all kinds of things. There's something that's interesting. What is that? A reel mower with a drum on it. That's kind of neat. The collector in me would give a little bit for that, just because it's different. A little Lawson engine on it. Huh. Well, I will definitely come back. I'm not really interested in any big ticket items to speak of, unless something would just go screaming cheap. And the reason is, I guess I can let you in on that secret. There's an auction at the end of the month that's online only, and it's got a tractor on it that I really want. So I'm trying my hardest to not buy anything else for the next 3 or 4 weeks, so that I can really put out the cash for that one, because that's what's going to have to happen if I want that one. It's going to take many dineros. So we will try to just refrain ourselves from dragging home too much of this stuff. I'll probably bring the trailer, and then that'll keep me from winning anything, you know. Keep me from winning. Wouldn't be an Oliver boat motor there, would it? No. All Evinrudes. But anyway, this is more of a, even if there's not something that you want, this is more of a social gathering type situation. Like, anybody and everybody will be here, so it's fun to sit and talk with people and, you know, do the thing. But just trying to program in my brain where all this stuff is at that I'm mildly interested in, so I don't miss it when they're jumping all around. The drawbar's over there in the same row as the VAC case. Ditcher there, and then there's 2 little pieces over there. Potentially that one set of tires. Who knows? Who knows what we'll end up with, if anything. Like I said, there's nothing here I can't live without. It's just, it's fun to go to auctions, and it's fun to visit friends, and you never know. You might win a treasure and you might not. And who knows, there might be something super cool show up in the next few days, and then we won't be able to resist. But when you see what I'm after at the end of the month, you'll understand why I'm trying to restrain myself. And it's just unfortunate that it seems like there's more auctions coming up now between now and then, tempting me, trying to get me to, you know, waste all my money on something else. But no, we're gonna make it happen, friends, some way, somehow. But yeah, we made it before dark. I was worried about that, but I got you your preview in without getting wet. There's no there may not be another chance of that. I think last year's video, it rained while we were at the auction and we had to sit in the truck, and I foresee that that may very well be something that happens again. So I don't know, I may just show up with the truck and then go back and get the trailer. I don't know, because if it's a muddy mess, it's probably going to be easier to just get the truck in and out. And then it's not that far home. I can just run home and get the trailer, or I can leave the hitch on it and sweet talk Daddy-O into bringing the trailer up here to me, and we'll switch trucks, hook it to my truck, and then go. His truck's 2-wheel drive. It would be, if a rain cloud comes over, it's useless. I mean, it'll spin on the driveway. So yeah, well, it's auction day, so we're gonna go get a number. I was afraid. I got here just a few minutes before it starts, and I thought I'd have to park way away, and there was an open spot right across the driveway about where we parked the other day when we looked at it. So good deal. We'll see how big a line there is to get a number. Pretty good crowd, I'd say. Yep. Well, they're running 3 rings, and right now nobody's near anything I'm interested in, but I'm sure they'll all 3 come together about the same time, you know, so I can't see it all, but whatever. I'll stick with one a while and see what direction they go. Then we'll know what we need to do. But like I said, there's really nothing here I can't live without, so if we don't get anything, no big deal. Well, we made it part of the day without rain, but now it's coming down. So I think I'll go sit in the pickup. Not a lot of footage was had because talking to people. Kind of a visiting sale, really. Now that I'm almost to the pickup, it's gonna quit raining.
Alright, put that thing away.
You don't want us to be on camera, sir?
Hi.
Your video did pretty good with your Alice Chalmers. Do you? Hi, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good. You can just buy this and then drive it home and you don't even have to get out.
That's why we're sitting in it, because we want to make sure when they get here, we're here.
You're here.
After everybody goes home.
Yeah, the rain
goes home when it rains, we're going to steal this thing.
The rain probably cleaned out some of them, I'd say. So, I don't know. Good deal.
If they really want something,
they'll find a hole to crawl in. Yeah.
Hide.
All right, friends. The sale is not even half over, but it's pouring rain at different times, and I'm really not motivated enough to get soaked for next to nothing. I did make a few purchases, and I'm sure you'll see them at the end when we get them loaded up. I bought that reel mower that I just thought it was neat. I think I gave $20 for it, with a little Lawson gas engine. And then I bought that Oliver Super 55 drawbar, 550 drawbar, because my 550 needs one. And somebody bid me up on it, and I paid more than I really wanted to, but I think it's still cheaper than, you know, if I would find one and have to have it shipped here or whatever. I think I paid 150 or 60 bucks for it. So I guess that's fair. But the guy did come up to me afterwards, later in the day here, and he said, "Hey, did you buy that to resell?" And I said, "No." I said, "I've got probably about 50 tractors," and I said, "I got one that needs that." And he said, "Yeah." He said, "I got the whole Super Series." He's got a Super 55 up to a Super 88, and then he's got a couple 770s, I think he said, and then some Massey Fergusons. But anyway, so I hate that I bid against a guy who, you know, also had tractors, but hey, I got stuff that needs parts too, you know. I turned the wipers on. I thought that was cousin in that red pickup of his dad's, but I don't think it is. No, he was here earlier. I could have videoed him. This sale is just a lot more about visiting. You see everybody up here, you know. So I've been talking all day. I haven't got hardly any footage of actual auction, you know, selling, but that's okay. What else? Well, I had a neighbor call. He left a bid on something and he wondered if I could bring it home with me, and I said I think we can get it in the back of the truck. He ended up buying, he'd left an absentee bid on that 90-degree pulley thing that we looked at that was stuck. So we'll get that hauled back for him. And then yeah, what else? Oh, I know what I was talking about. That guy with the super tractors. We were just talking, and he was telling me where he lived and some of the people that he knew, and I know him too. And then anyway, I asked him, I said, by the way, I said, are your tractors, are they 1955 model year? Because it just seems to me like every super tractor you find around here is a 1955 model year. And he said, no, 1956. And I said, really, all of them are 1956? And he said, yes, because I was born in 1956. So he purposely sought out 1956 models for every tractor that he's got. And I thought that was interesting because I don't know how hard or difficult that would be to do, because like I said, most everyone I've seen sell is a 1955 model year, just because that's the year they made the most, I guess, from what I've been told. But fun facts, I don't know, stuff you learn at an auction. So I'm gonna hang out here a little bit yet. I mean, I'm not gonna spend money on stuff I don't need, because I'm waiting for that end of the month auction. And when you see what's on that auction, you will understand why I have waited. I will go film the stuff and then put an auction video together just like this one. But it's an online only auction, and there's a tractor on there that I dearly want, and then about 6 more that I would buy if the price is right. But you know, I'm gonna try for the one, and then we'll see how that goes. So anyway, there might be one other thing out here that I would be mildly interested in if it would be a screaming deal. It's towards the end here, so I got a while that I could wait, and maybe the rain will run some people off, and then it's just going to be me and the equipment buyers fighting it out. But we'll see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. I just know that if I do get this thing bought, it would be something that was useful to me, and you will see that too if it happens. But anyway, I'm gonna just hang out in here, and I'll bring you back when something interesting happens. Oh, I guess there is more to talk about before you go. Not to bore you with conversation, but you remember about 2 or 3 years ago, it was probably 3 years ago, I bought that Heritage tractor, that 1355 here at this auction, and it was whatever, and the owner at the time came up to me and said, hey, I got books for it, but I forgot it at home. And then anyway, he said, give me your number. When I dig them out, I'll call you. Well, I think he texted once and said I have them, and we never did get together. And last year at the sale, he said I forgot them. He said I was gonna bring them and whatever. Well, this year he remembered them, and so we have some Gen Sales reproduction books for 1355. Operator's book. Here we have a service manual reprint and a parts manual. So what I like about these is, since these aren't originals, you know, they're copies of originals, these are good things to take out with you when you're working on them in the shop. You know, if you get them greasy or dirty, you're not as tore up about it, you know, as if you ruin a nice original with a bunch of grease. So anyway, it's yeah, I mean, that was cool. I asked him, what do you want? And he said I was gonna give him with the tractor when it sold, and never did that. So he watches the channel now. He's been waiting for that Heritage tractor to get done, and I agree. I should try to get on the ball and get it done by the 4th of July, since this is an anniversary year, but I don't know if that'll happen or not. So anywho, so I'll bring you back when something more interesting is happening. But like right now, it just started to rain a little bit harder, so I'll probably just hang out in here for a good while. Well, friends, the sale's pretty well done. I gotta go home and get a trailer and come back though. I got some little things. I wouldn't say little things, but I thought really good deal things. Couple hay feeders and different stuff. I bid on this trailer. It's not here now. You see this empty hole if you look back in the video. I ran it up there. I thought, I don't know, I just thought it would be handy. I think it brought 26 or 800, somewhere in there, and I quit. Maybe I should have went more, but it was going to need a floor, so I don't know, you know, do I need that? Probably not. But and I think I may have also bought another tractor by word of mouth, so that one would be down in Kentucky if this deal goes. And so I don't know, that'll be an adventure probably, but we'll see if that materializes, and that'll have to be next weekend's project or something. So yeah, That'll be like an early day, probably start out early in the morning, drive down kind of situation and load, and then take my time coming back, because I think it's probably about 3 hours, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna go pay, then we'll load up a few of the small things and then come back with the trailer to get those feeders and whatnot. So yeah. All right, well, that's interesting. On the camera it looks like that is all flashing, but it doesn't do that in real life, so that's fine. I didn't realize that was, I thought that was just a light bulb behind something, but okay. Anyway, some people probably think it's crazy to not bring a trailer with you, but I'm telling you, friends, it really works out better to go home again and get the trailer, because it is so muddy now that you will get stuck if you had the trailer and it was sitting out in the field all day. So by doing it this way, most of the people will be gone by the time I get back, and then I can load, or they can help me load rather, in peace. I can just park somewhere on the dry and they can bring me the stuff with a forklift. I bought a couple, well, I got a couple things in the bed of the truck just because I didn't want somebody to run over it or steal it. And then I've got 2 hay feeders to get, and then a oh, I bought something it's ridiculous, but it was $20. So I bought it. It's set up as like a fuel trailer, or it's a tank on a trailer. And on the off chance that the tank would be somewhat clean inside and not leak, it would be kind of handy to use. So I mean, it would not be a pull it down the highway situation, but pull it from field to field or whatever, you know. I don't know. We'll see what we want to do with it. The possibilities are endless, friends, you know. So that's where I'm at. I bought the feeders and that thing because they were a cheap deal. I mean, $20 for that tank on the trailer, and it's got a chain looped over it with a boomer on it. So there's my $20 right there. And then, you know, the 2 feeders are brand new practically. The guy who sold them said that he couldn't lift them, so he was going to sell them. They're not the style that I normally like. They're like the horse style. You'll see what that is when I get them. But they're brand new, and they're actually, like, I gave almost nothing compared to what they are new. I would say half price. So yeah, I'm gonna see if maybe my sister wants them. They can either buy them from me or trade me a rubber one or 2 or whatever, but we'll see what that turns out to be. Otherwise I'll just use them. I don't care. I mean, I want some extra ones so that, like in the winter time when we have snowstorms, I like to keep bales ready to go, like on deck. So all I got to do is open a gate if we would have like a blizzard situation. And so I was always deficient in rings. So 2 more rings take care of that problem. And I'd actually probably like to have 2 more eventually, so that I could have, you know, 6 bales at any given time sitting there with all you have to do is open a gate for them to get to it. So we'll see about that. But anyway, we gotta go home and hook to the trailer. Hopefully when we get back it's not pouring down rain any more than it is now, but it probably will be. But that's okay, because we've been wet before. What am I doing, friends? You know, I was living my happy life there for a while. I could have made 1 trip home and just been done, but then I had to stay longer and talk longer and end up buying a trailer load of stuff, and now I have to go back with the trailer to get said stuff. So yeah, anyway, hopefully it's still light enough when we get there that they don't say we're done for the day. I don't think they will, but especially since I haven't paid him yet. I asked the auctioneer while he was walking by, I said, I mean, we know each other well enough, and I said, can I just go get my trailer first instead of waiting in this, you know, 2-mile long line and then pay you when I get back? And he said, that's fine. So that's what I did. That's not usually the policy. I mean, usually they They don't want you to load anything or leave or whatever till you have paid your bill. But you know, you go to enough sales, you know the guy well enough, sometimes they let you do stuff, and that's good. So hopefully when we get back, what I'm saying is I'll be able to just walk right up there, give them my money, and say, let's load the trailer and be done with this today, you know. So you don't have to do it on Easter, because that's the next day, you know. So they'll have to hurry up and hunt their eggs before noon, because after that they'll probably be loading out auction treasures. But I'd say by the time we get loaded and head back, it's going to be dark, which is unfortunate for us, because you know, we probably won't be able to do a nice wrap-up video with you seeing what I got. I'll have to do that tomorrow and then throw it in the video, and this will probably be tomorrow's video. I don't know. We'll just see how it all works out. We'll just see how it works out. I feel like, again, I got nothing accomplished today, but you got an auction video and I had fun. So I guess I accomplished something. And like I said, I think I might have bought a tractor word of mouth off the internet. So if that happens, then yeah, it's been a pretty good day. So anywho's, I will bring you back when something more exciting is happening. Well, I'm loaded up and headed back home. If I'd have bought that trailer today, I guess I wouldn't have had to make 2 trips. Other than I would have had no chains of any kind or anything with me. So that's about right. But I think it fit on there really well, everything. So we should be good to go. The only inconvenience is I'm gonna have to go back and pay them when the computer's on. They shut the computer off because it took me so long to get back, but that's okay. That's okay. I still got it hauled away today, and I didn't have to stand in line. I can walk in during the week and just pay them right there. So yeah, but it's gonna be dark by the time we get home, so that means we won't that means I've got work to do tomorrow yet to get everything squared away. So fun times, friends, fun times. All right, it's the next day. Definitely we're gonna have to think about mowing the yard. It keeps raining though. It rained a bunch yesterday, didn't it, Buddy the dog? Didn't it, Buddy the dog? That's right. So he's excited. He's excited to see in the daylight all the treasures that I brought home from the auction, and also to keep dragging trash that I throw in the barrel out and strewn it about. So what did I get? Well, let's start at the truck here. I don't know what I've all got in the truck. Well, basically this here 550 Super 55 hitch. I need one. I didn't have one. I think the 550 is the one that doesn't have one on it. So I paid probably more for that than I really wanted to, and I'm not exactly sure what yet, because I didn't end up getting settled up with them. I got to go back this week and pay them, but it was like $160 or $70, which is what it is. I mean, I've seen them go for more, and if you had to buy them and have them shipped to you, you'd pay a lot more. So yeah. Then anyway, on another note, a buddy of mine, he was actually made a cameo in the video there, but he messaged me the other day and he said, hey, do you have any use for these old saws? And I said, well, maybe. And he said, I'll just give them to you. He said, I don't want to mess with them. And he said, you like to, and whatever, you make videos. So he gave me these 3 saws and brought these along. So this is a Remington Logmaster. The handle's broken, unfortunately, but I don't know, parts might be out there. We'll figure that out when the time comes. Here's a Steel 041. And then we have a Pioneer farm saw, which a whole bunch of people have left comments and said, you need to get a Pioneer farm saw because they're so good. So I don't know. We'll mess with that at some point, and we'll try to get those running, or see if they're worth fixing or whatever. Find another one and make 1 out of 2. I don't know. But Anyway, those were not auction buys, but I did get them at the auction because he brought them along and he put them in the back of my pickup before he left. So that's how that goes. Now let's head out here where I unhooked the trailer in the dark, and we'll take a look at the stuff that we gathered, which, like I said, I'm trying to desperately to not spend any more money so I can funnel it all into that one thing at the end of the month. You'll get to see, hopefully, but we'll see. Anyway, here's my load of stuff. So they had these brand new bale feeders. The guy put them together and used them a few times and decided he didn't like the weight. I guess he was trying to move them by hand, and I don't know. He said he just didn't like it, and I don't know. It looks like either it's been repaired a little or they were crappily made to start with. I don't know, but those bottom loops is what I'm talking about. I wonder if he cut them off and then decided to weld them back on. I don't know, but I don't really like this style of feeder, but they were cheap enough for me that, I mean, I couldn't go out and buy 2 feeders for what I got in these. That's because it's 2 of them, three sections a piece. And so I don't remember what I gave because, again, I didn't settle up, and I don't really care when I'm bidding. It is what it is. If I get something and I think it's fair, I keep bidding and then stop and whatever. So I got some idea where I'm at on them, but I want to say that I got less than the price of one of the other ones in these too. So we'll see how we like it. The only thing see, these are made, I guess, for horses to be gentle on their hair so that they don't hurt their hair, and so they can put their head in between this gap here and get to the bale. But I foresee, knowing bovines as I do, I foresee that some of them are going to get their head stuck in these triangles, and then they're going to be ripping this thing all over the countryside. So I don't know if I need to put something through there so they can't go through there and they can only go through, or just let it eat and see what happens. I don't know. I mean, whoever had these obviously kept up on them, because if something looked like it was coming loose, it looks like he tried to weld them back and painted it all up in the places that stuff happened. I don't know, but what I'm saying is you aren't going to find any cheaper than what that is. So I'll see if my sister's interested in them, because they have horses, but if not, we'll put them together and we'll use them out here, because they will mainly be overflow. Like I said, if there's, you know, when there's a snowstorm a-coming, I like to have some out in the different places where I can just open a gate and let them all go, and then, you know, live a happy life. Okay, moving on. Look at this monstrosity. It's a giant metal tank on a homemade cart, which I don't know what this cart used to be. It had a serial number tag, didn't it? It was something. Maybe a spreader, tandem spreader, I don't know. And I saw this at first and I thought, I don't know, do I want this thing? You know, first I thought, if the tank was good and clean, it would be super handy to have a mobile fuel barrel where I could pull it to the field or whatever I needed to do. Leave it at home, pull the barrel to the field, fill up the tractor, pull it back home. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that I would trust it to pull it to town. We would obviously have to do a lot of work on the tire situation. It rolls super easy though. Like, he set it on the back of the trailer and I just pushed it with one hand up to the front. So we got that going for us. But the thing that I saw of value was this chain and this boomer. I mean, we got a chain and a boomer, and I gave for this whole rig, I gave 20 bucks. I mean, so is that a bad deal? I don't think so. I think my chain section and my boomer, yeah, I need to put a connector link in the chain to make it one piece if we want to do that, but I think I got my $20 worth, friends. I don't know. It was kind of an impulse buy. Nobody was bidding, and I thought, hey, I'll give 20 bucks for that. Like I said, maybe the tank's junk, Maybe we can use the little cart for something else. You know, their possibilities are endless for $20. So there it is. This is that little direction changer that my neighbors ended up being the ones who bought it, and they called and asked if I'd bring it home. So I did. I would have liked to bid on it myself, but I didn't even see that it sold. And I don't really have the motivation to redo all this. I don't know if that was a rubber or if that was like paper, but it's conically shaped down here so that when that drives in there, it, you know, does the thing. Pushes on it, makes her go. Now, I also got this here, which I said, again, this is something that I gave almost nothing for. I think I gave $20 for this. And the motor's not stuck, so it might even run, you know. I've got a few of these of different brands, and they're just neat old things, you know. I hate to see stuff like that scrapped just because it's so interesting. I mean, look at where we've come from. In its day, this thing was deluxe, friends. I was gonna... Oh. Well, how about that? That tag tells us this is actually a Toro. So that's cool. That's a name that we hear of today. But I don't know. Like I said, I've got 2 or 3 of these of different kinds, and that one of them I had running, and it's actually like self-propelled with, it's got rubber drive wheels on the outside, and I'm pretty sure that it pulls those wheels too, in addition to spinning the mower. And let me tell you, you better be ready to go, because that thing moves along. I mean, it moves along fast. So it'd be interesting to get this going and see what it does. Now look at this. This used to be the throttle. There was a cable in here, and you just did one of these to rev her up. Isn't that cool? I think so. Maybe you don't, but like I said, I like stuff like this, you know? I like stuff like this that I can fix or not fix. It doesn't matter. I can push this to a show, and it can be just as interesting to look at as if it was restored, in my opinion, you know? I did that once. I took a whole line of things, garden tractors and David Bradley's and such, but it's one of those things, you know, they ain't making any more, and that was, I don't know, it just was something that struck me as that needed to come with me. I've got quite the collection of that stuff. People have been asking for me to, you know, do a video on that, but maybe this summer we'll have time to pull all that stuff out before the fair. What I'm gonna have to do at this point, I've accumulated so much of that stuff that I think I need another trailer, like a cheapo trailer, you know, frame that I could build and make whatever I wanted, and then just mount a bunch of those on there and leave them, and then back it in the shed and then take them to the fair or whatever, because I've got several things on steel wheels, and then a bunch of stuff like this, and David Bradley's just one after the other. I've tried to get every model there for a while, so I got a bunch of them and just all kinds of stuff. And if you had a trailer about like this and you had them just on there, you could even put those tracks in the floor where you could like cable or strap them, you know, like they do in trailer floors or semis, and you could put them wherever you needed and cinch them down, and then that way you could always change them out if you wanted to rotate the display or whatever. But I'm to that point where I've got enough of those. I think that's something I need to pursue a little harder than I have been. But anyway, I would guess, if I guessed what I spent at this auction without looking at the paper, I would say I spent less than $600. I'm thinking. I probably got $350 or so in these, and then that Oliver drawbar, that would be $450, that'd be $500, and then 20, 40, 540-ish, 550 probably, maybe a little more with these. Maybe I'm off by $10 or $20, but I think we're in the neighborhood there, as far as that goes. I think we're less than $600, a little over 500 probably, and I don't think that's bad for what I got, because like I said, $500 would only buy me one bale feeder and part of another one. Like, I think those rubber ones I get are about $400, give or take, you know, if they're on sale. So $400, that's just $100 less than what we got for all this crap. So yeah, there were some other things I did bid on and I just didn't get. I bid on that Oliver walking planter, but I got the impression that the guy bidding against me thought that I would buy it no matter what, so he was just running me up. So finally I got going pretty good and pretty fast, and the bids were flying, and then I just quit. And then, I don't know, he had a look of puzzlement on his face, and the auctioneer kept trying desperately to get me to bid again, and I did not. So he got stuck with that. If you do that to me, you may get stuck with it, because I will not put up with that kind of thing. If you want it, fine, bid on it. But if you don't, then don't run a guy up for no reason. Another thing, I bid on that cast dinner bell. I don't know if you saw that. It actually had a crack in it, and I think I bid like to $150, and some lady wanted it more than I did, so she owned that. And then I think the only other thing I really bid on, well, I bid on that VAC case. I thought I'd give maybe $200 to $300 for it, and it brought over 300. I'm pretty sure is worth, because I quit it. I think I quit at $275, and I felt like, first of all, it's not my brand. I would have liked to tried to save it because it's different than the one I got, but it was missing one rim and tire on the back. They had taken the starter off of it, and they had taken, I believe, did they take the distributor out of it? It was missing something ignition system wise, because it had no wires on it or anything. So when you figure that you got a missing wheel and a bunch of missing parts, and you got a tractor that basically is not very valuable, you can find VAC case all day long for $500 that are, you know, complete but not running, just like that one. So I didn't feel that it was, I was out on that. And the same way with that big trailer. I thought that would be a super handy trailer, and I kind of wanted it, but I don't know. I thought maybe for a second I had it for like $2,200, but then somebody else started bidding, and then there was a big debacle where he said sold, and then the guy who thought he was bidding wasn't getting, I don't know, he had a different guy's bid, and this other guy, so then there was a big to do about that, and I thought I'm out on this deal. I'm just gonna let her go. So that's how that went. So there was no trailer in our future, but again, it was one of those deals where they didn't make just that one. They made more. So someday I'll find one better, but I just got done putting a floor on this. I really didn't want to put a floor on that too, because that would have been a lot more expensive. It was a little bit longer trailer. I think this is a 20-foot trailer, I believe, and I would say that one was maybe a 22-foot deck with a 2-foot dovetail on it. I would say it was about a 24-foot trailer. So I don't know. I mean, it would have been handy, because I'm always limited by the stupid fenders. It seems like everything is just an inch too wide to fit on here, but whatever. So anywho's, I didn't buy that, and like I said, that was pretty well the end of my buying there. There just wasn't anything that I just had to have. There were some deals, I think, to be had. That 970 case with the factory loader, I think it only brought $5,500, and I thought that was a screaming deal for a tractor that size with a loader that looked as good as it did. I mean, it was a really nice original tractor. So I don't know. I think whoever bought that got a good deal. I didn't see hardly any of the tractors sell because it was pouring rain, and I sat in the pickup. I just was not willing to get soaked when I knew I wasn't going to be a bidder or buy the stuff. So that's how it goes. I got my fix in of buying a few things, but I think I restrained myself to a practical amount, you know, where it's I didn't lose money, is what I'm saying. All this stuff can be used for something, and it's cheaper than if you went out and bought a new one, you know. So yeah, well, we're gonna leave this one here. Like I said, there will be more auction videos probably this month, because there should be an in-person one I want to go to in a couple weeks, and then that one online, I'll film it just like I do these auction videos. But I certainly hope that I get bought what I'm trying to buy, and we'll see how that turns out, because that will provide us some more entertainment, you know, some more videos if I get that thing bought. So we'll see how that goes, but for now we are going to leave this one here. As always, friends, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.